so this sudden.
Yeah. Remembering like moments, like best Stanley like memories or something like that. Yeah. I like how I no, I was saying I just like how I just like how I'm live and there's like already 20, 30 people in here and they're talking about watch the Elseworlds trailer. I'm like, bro, this is a Stan Lee stream. They're gonna tell me to watch the Elseworlds trailer. I probably might film. Yeah, I probably might film that after this, to be honest. But yep.
What is going on? My name is Kendrick, the Dreadlock Blurred. As I mentioned before, we're going to be doing an emergency geek cast. By all I know, all you guys have heard the news. It's been all over the place. Anyway, about the passing of the Marvel Universe legend himself, Stan Lee. Before we jump in, let's say what's up to Kim McCoy, Enigma's girl, who decided to join us tonight. Katani Brahman, who isn't really feeling too hard now, but found the energy to join us with this live stream tonight, as well as Matthew V. Haynes, aka the Clockmaster, who was here also. The only one who is missing out is Mr. Harold B. Gibson because he is busy at work, but he will be chiming in later throughout this live stream. This live stream is not going to be long. We're not going to be here about 3 or 4 or 5 hours. We're going to be here a lot shorter than that. And we just wanted to jump on here and just talk about, you know, the man, the myth, the legend, Stan Lee,
Stan
who,
Lee.
Yep.
who throughout his entire most of his adult life brought the Marvel Comics universe to the point where it is right now. And it was just crazy. I posted a video early up on on YouTube about how and me and Tony were talking about this earlier about how the Facebook news feed was like slowing down. It seemed like
No, my
Facebook,
Facebook was down. And when
it's,
I went on
Was it?
Twitter, I saw that a bunch of other people were saying the same thing, that their Facebook was down. And my mom called me asking me if I could fix her Facebook while I'm at work.
I mean,
And yeah,
I
So
mean when
the news shut Facebook down too.
That's
mean,
the. Mhm.
it's a big coincidence if it did. It's just as soon as I got Facebook back up, that was the first thing I saw.
In fact,
See, I was
because
on all day, so I didn't have an issue.
I was on through my phone when I was taking care of some things, doing laundry and stuff, and like after a while, like in fact after I got the text from Tani where she asked me if Facebook was jacked up, I was like, I was okay on my end until then I got the same issue where it said that it was like just moving slow, like maybe like what, an hour, maybe an hour and a half after that it was okay, and that's when me and Tani were on the phone. That's where she told me that Stan Lee passed away. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then as soon as I opened up Facebook, the whole my whole news feed was just flooded with articles, posts from my friends about Stan Lee passing on. It's it's kind of surreal. It's really kind of surreal that a man like him, passed on like now. I was telling Tani that I'd hoped that we would have had more time with him at least until after Avengers 4. At least until after Avengers 4 we would have still he would have still been around, and then maybe then he could have just been like, well, my job here is done. I've gotten it to this point. Now I can,
Let go.
Let it go, yeah.
let it go. But apparently, the multiverse wasn't looking for that. Apparently,
You always get what you want.
they apparently they needed him now, and they usually say it comes in threes. We just lost. I forgot the guy's name. The guy who did the voice of HAL 9000 from 2001's A Space Odyssey. He passed away yesterday.
Wow.
So we lost him. So I think he was the first one. We lost a man, Stan Lee, today. I mean, I don't know who's going to be the third one, but I will definitely say this is the one that probably hits the hardest. I mean, this guy, this guy has done so much. Not only just for Marvel, but he's done a lot for the comic book world in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I mean, earlier this year we lost Steve Ditko, who was a part of Marvel. We lost him. So you look at a guy like that, and we know life doesn't go on forever, but you look at a guy like Stan Lee, and it's like the guy was 95 years old and still kicking for the most part. You figure you see that guy, you figure this guy will probably live for like the next, I don't know, 10 or 15 years or something
Forever.
like that. Yeah, basically, you think a guy like that will live forever.
I had been saying it since his wife died last year, and I didn't know too much about them as a couple while she was alive. But after reading, just after reading their story and reading how they were together and just how much he seemed to love her, I told Ken, and I said, I don't think Stan Lee is going to live much longer. I don't think he wants to be here without his wife.
It's crazy you mentioned that because I had like a personal story that's very similar. Like my grandparents, my grandparents on my dad's side, my grandmother passed away before my grandfather, and shortly after she passed away, my grandfather was hurting, and everything was different. And I personally believe that Stan Lee had a very similar thing, as you were saying, Tani, with his wife, because and he was getting sick all the time, and then I heard this rumors of him like lashing out on people just because he was miserable.
I've heard other things as far as his family is concerned, as how their treatment from the rest of the family was making him like that. So that's I think a lot his family. According to what I'm hearing, is that they made him sign a bunch of stuff that's now sitting somewhere. And they made him do a lot of things that he was not willing to do. And, it's hard. It's a hard loss. Because of, what he was mentally going through at that time before he passed.
It's, oh, hold on. What? I'm gonna say my that volume's up. But me and Tiny were talking earlier, and we were pretty much saying the same thing. Like, after the passing of his wife, it's like it's almost like the floodgates kind of open because you kept hearing about all these different types of stories. Like like being mistreated in like certain like hospice cares and stuff like that. That whole sexual harassment thing that came about with him and all that. And it's just you just sit there and think like the guy, he just lost his wife. He's really up there in age. He's still trying to be optimistic.
Still grieving too, like
still trying to be optimistic about everything that's going on around him, because despite what people have been saying about the situation, people still love him. Even the fact that there's a lot of conventions that he removed himself from because he just didn't have the energy to be there. I would remember seeing certain tweets and stuff from him saying that I would love to be here, but I'm not going to make it and stuff like that. But like even through all that, it's just the still the comic book fan in us all that just hope that he would have lived just a bit longer. But when you hear people say that people die from a broken heart, that thing is real. That thing is absolutely real. Like when your emotions can't take the loss of someone you really love, it destroys you. It really destroys you. I think Stanley held on for as long as he could, but I think ultimately he was just probably ready to go. I think he knew, or I think he felt deep in his heart that he'd done all he could with his role, and he really just wanted to be with his wife. I think that's really what I think. He just really wanted to be with his wife. But be that as it may, that still leaves us in a position where it's like, damn, one of the last comic book icons who has lived for decades is gone. And,
the creator
now,
of the first Black superhero.
It's this is the guy who created Spider-Man, probably one of the most relatable superheroes to ever be drawn.
Yep.
He's. I mean, I've said before that I have always been more of a DC fan. I've always enjoyed their stories and their characters, but I would be very remiss to say that the characters of the Marvel Universe, if they're not the most complicated characters that I've ever read, I don't know any others that exist. He wrote about a character that had an alcohol problem in Tony Stark. He had, he's written so many different personal stories, like characters that have like real demons and stuff. But at the end of the day,
you mentioned that. I just want to add to that too, like the whole inner demons thing. He had a way. I saw a video on his Instagram that someone posted, I think, like a few days ago, and it was saying that they were able to tell certain real life problems like drug abuse and all these things without being too preachy or being like, hey kids, don't do drugs.
Don't do this. Exactly.
It wasn't like that. It was in a way that people of all ages could really say, man, like, Dr. Ock, like, he's going through this problem, or, Tony Stark, like, this man is struggling, like, and real life issues, and they represented, like, so much. They just represented the fact that people can be better. Yeah. And they can get better, gave us hope.
In fact, I remember, I think, as far as I know, I think Marvel Comics might have been the only comic book to really tackle the effects of September 11th. I still have yet to pick that issue up, and I really want to read it, but I remember seeing it in stores, and I was saying to myself, wow, it's amazing that Marvel, a comic book company, would actually tackle issues such as September 11th. I mean, granted, we tackled issues like that before. I mean, Captain America is a character that fought in World War II against the Nazis. So he deals with that, with the rest going on it. But something so close to home and so recent, and for him to have the foresight to create a comic book surrounding that issue, and how the Marvel superheroes, not only the superheroes, but superheroes and supervillains of the Marvel Universe, how they dealt with that situation. That is a comic book I am dying to pick up, and I hope to find it one day. But you got to give credit to a man to think about that. He saw a situation, and he threw it, and he put it in the context as to, what if what if the superheroes saw something like that and they couldn't do anything to stop it? How would that reverberate throughout the Marvel universe? So I just thought, like,
I'm still here, guys. I just have to switch cameras.
Okay.
Man, everybody coming out with the coughs, man.
See, this weather change is screwing a lot of things up. That's what it is.
Hot, cold, warm, hot. Fall, summer, winter.
Yeah.
It's not good at all.
It's really not.
I got a question for you guys. Have you guys seen Stan Lee's Superhumans at all?
I have.
You've seen?
I have.
No, I haven't.
I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, it's been a while. It was like a few years back I watched that.
I think they stopped doing it after a while.
Yeah, they did.
I know recently, it's crazy. I don't know how much input he actually had within this, but recently he was still making brand new comics, brand new characters. Like
that's right, he was
still doing that, like new characters, new comics. So I don't know how much involvement there was with the creative process. With him, but it's crazy. 95, and like you mentioned, still kicking it. 95, still doing his thing, going to charities. And I talked a little about this in my live stream earlier. Like, this man, I've seen him go on smaller YouTube channels that had like 500 subscribers or so, and like go and do interviews with them and talk with them for like 20-30 minutes. Like, a lot of people don't do that.
He believes in a dream, and that's the thing. And that's like he knows what it feels like to be that person with a dream and with a thought and with just an idea, and to see like that growth. That's what I admired about him so much, is that he can see the potential in a lot of people and a lot of things, and he wasn't afraid to take a risk and to do anything. And you don't see a lot of that anymore these days. Like we were talking about that the other day, how people they stick with what they do, not Stanley. Stanley's like, you know what? I think this is going to work. And let's give it a try. And if it doesn't work, we'll move on. And, you have...
Tony mentioned it earlier, Black Panther, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, Black Panther. That's a huge risk back in that time to make a story like that. So...
I mean, if we all really think about it, Stanley himself is like probably one of the oldest nerds to have existed. I've been going through my Instagram feed throughout most of the day and just seeing, all the people that I follow who have taken pictures with him, like Bat in the Sun, Jason David Frank, Brandon Mullally, just all these guys, celebrities and regular people alike, that have met this guy. And that just goes to show you that Stan Lee didn't put himself above a lot of other people. We've talked about this before, like a lot of these celebrities, they get to a point where it's like they feel like they're too big for their britches and they can't relate to the people that actually are fans of their stuff. I mean, I can name a few celebrities off the top of my head that I've met that were kind of like that. But Stan Lee, I think first and foremost, I think he's said this himself, that first and foremost, he's a comic book fan and he's a comic book nerd. He's a nerd. He's admitted that. And I think he holds that. He's always held that in high regard as opposed to being the father of Marvel. That's always been his thing. Like, think about it. He could have easily, we've had 10 years of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. There could have been, at any point within those 10 years, he could have probably written a bigger role for himself in these movies. But no.
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't.
Humility, man.
Think about it. He's been in every single...
took pride in everything he did. He took it.
Exactly. This guy has been in every single... He's been in every... I can't think of not one Marvel movie that he wasn't in. He's been in every single Marvel movie that's been created, even the ones that were not attached to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Don't forget the games, too, and animation. The animation TV shows and the voiceovers.
He even showed up in Teen Titans Go to the Movies. He showed up in that.
I didn't even know that.
When if you look it up if you can find it on YouTube, when I saw it, I bugged out. I was like, Stan Lee is up in here on Teen Titans Go to the Movies, just chilling out. I'm like, now like at that point, you have nothing but respect for the man at that point.
Honestly,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, my man can just jump to DC side, say what's up, and then pop right back out. Like, come on now. Like, you gotta respect and love the man for that. Like, you just have to do that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not it's not gonna be the same for a while.
No.
Now, no, it's not. It's just not. I mean, we got two more Marvel movies coming. We have Captain Marvel, and we have Avengers 4 next year. Now, I have seen that he already filmed his, cameos way before ahead of time. So we will get to see him two more times, very soon.
It's just upsetting that he's not going to see the finale, as you mentioned, as to how this all wraps up. I just wish that he had, within all of this, because I know Avengers 4 is still in production, so they're not even close to finishing editing that thing. I wish I hope he had seen at least some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it, because I don't know. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be so weird. And people are talking about them doing a CGI cameo. It's not gonna be the same.
No.
And they shouldn't do that.
They really should not do that. That would
it defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, it does.
I'm like, it's so disrespectful to do that. And if they're not gonna do that, and it's oh god, I can't get the words out. I'm so upset right now because it's just the thought process of just doing that to a person and just to make money, or just to, I know it may just be like just to honor him. Let me just throw that out, like just to honor his memory. But every movie should be an honor of his memory from the here point, here on.
Really,
and that should be enough. We shouldn't. I mean, we should. These last couple of movies, we'll appreciate and we'll hold on to them more because the fact that this is the last time he's going to be in any movies, and I think that should be everything at that point. We shouldn't get any more cameos, any more anything. We should be able to kind of just move on, with that. And I think that's what he would really want, is for us to kind of move on and away from this.
Yeah,
they were talking about doing that with like Carrie Fisher for the next movie, which I heard they already did already. Doing like CGI, and I don't like General Tarkin for those who watch Star Wars.
But they're not.
But it wouldn't be the same.
Yes, but the thing is that my understanding with that is that they were not going to do that with her because they really did not want to do disrespect for her in that way because of the fact that she's just that iconic of a character.
And they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. Before we continue, do we have any like comments or questions happening in the chat at the moment?
Not for you.
I mean, we just have some people saying that they miss him. They hope that Marvel had him record a whole bunch of green screen stuff to use in the future movies, like blooper reels and stuff. And pretty much everyone is just showing love and respect, and they just miss him. That's what I'm seeing on my end here.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. It's been a wild day. And
this is the last thing you expected in the middle of the day today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was the last thing to expect. To kind of have to because I rushed home as soon as I heard. I was out and about, and I rushed home just to read and hear because I had to make sure I wasn't going crazy because you get a lot of these fake stuff now. And
the first thing I did was like when I see people post things about someone dying, I go right to Google and see what's really up.
Yeah.
And I was
but I had to make sure. I'm like, because I didn't want to fall victim to one of those fake pranks or anything like that, because at first I really truly was like hoping it was one, and I really was, and I was sitting there like, no, this just can't be. I'm gonna go home and it's gonna be fake. And no,
like right when after it happened, I was driving and my boy Joey texted me right away, And he's like, "Yo, Stanley died." I'm like, "Nah." And then some other people texted me, and I'm like, "Okay." So I pulled over, and I saw Hollywood Reporter. I trust Hollywood Reporter, and I saw that, and I was like, man. And the thing is, because he was so sick and like just stuff was going on, I had a feeling that he was going to pass. Like I had a feeling it was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen so soon. I was like, maybe we're gonna get like another year or 2 years out of him. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't expect it, especially not today. And that's the thing about like death. You don't expect it. And when it hits you, it's like, dang,
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? Like, you just chilling, driving, eating Chipotle, whatever, and you get a text message, Stanley's dead.
But oftentimes that's kind of how it goes down. Usually, like I remember, I mean, shoot, I remember when Michael Jackson died.
That's exactly who I was gonna compare this to.
Definitely broke Facebook.
That was the exact feeling I had. Like my stomach dropped from everything dropped to the floor.
I remember chilling at home, and I'm like, I think the first place I might have saw it might have been on Facebook, and I kept seeing people post it up, and I'm like, stop playing, y'all need to stop joking around and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But then I turn on the news, and I'm like, is it just like some like kind of like elaborate joke or something like that? Because Michael Jackson doesn't die. That's not something that happens.
That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, right.
What a way to say it. What a way to put it.
No, seriously though.
50.
Yeah, he was very young. Yeah, he was young.
Like, he's getting ready for a show and all this other stuff.
I think that was the most impact of it, was the fact that he was just planning this brand new show, and it was going to be awesome, and it was going to be amazing. We were ready for it, and it was like,
I was planning a trip to London. I'm like, spend all my money. I'm taking this flight. I'm going.
And then like, when you hear that, I was like I was like, celebrity deaths don't usually affect me too much, but I will say, aside from Stan Lee passing on, that when Michael Jackson passed on, I was like, this world doesn't feel the same anymore.
No,
it definitely did not.
And it's the same way with Stan. It's like, this guy's been around for like years, just like putting all this stuff together, making these things happen. I'm like, listen, that's why I said, like, he took Marvel to a point that they probably didn't even dream of. Like, I mean, these days people dream about making a movie like a dime a dozen, but like, who would have thought we would have came to a point where we would see Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, Thanos. Who would have thought we would have seen these type of characters in the movies? Because remember, for a good while, Warner Brothers and DC had the game kind of on lock, but then Marvel just came in with the perfect formula and just took over the game. And who was there just chilling in the cut? Stan Lee, just chilling in the cut, chilling with his cameo, and he was good to go.
I mean, it's so weird because it's like, when you say, for me, Morgan Freeman has always been old. Like, he's just always been old. So it's like, if I see a young Morgan Freeman, it's gonna be weird to me. And it's like, I grew up with Morgan Freeman being old. Same thing for Stan. I just grew up with Stanley just being there. Like, he's just there.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just there. You don't think anything of it. You're like, nah, man, this man's immortal. No, it's not. No. So, like, when he started getting sick, that's when I really got worried. I started getting really worried. I'm like, okay, all right, Stanley, stop getting sick, man. Come on now, don't do that. And it still hasn't hit me yet, man. It still hasn't hit me.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about it logically, he was 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's exactly where I'm at with that too.
I don't know. It's like you knew he didn't have a lot of years left, but it was just it's just like I don't know.
You were still hoping for it. You were still hoping for it. You know he didn't have it. You still were kind of holding on for that little bit, like that selfish bit that we had left. You know, and like, and you look at all these other people, like, you know, Hugh Hefner and all these people that like they like never die, and you're like, no, he's gonna be the next Hugh Hefner. This guy is like too fun loving and too caring, and no, you know, and it's you know, it's hard to say goodbye, quoting Boyz II Men on this one, but you know, we've lost one, but we gained a lot from it. And that's one of the benefits to this.
He left behind such what I believe one of the
How old was Hugh Hefner when he died?
Huh?
How old was Hugh Hefner when he died?
Let's see.
Google.
Yeah, I got you. Hugh Hefner. God.
'91.
Yeah, 91.
So not that
last year.
Not that far off. Not that far off.
I totally forgot he passed too, man. It's crazy.
All we have left is Betty White. Who else is in the 90s?
Don't take Betty from me, okay?
Leave Betty alone, man.
Leave Betty alone.
Who else is in the 90s?
You know, all these like pioneers is just like leaving, and it's just like it's almost like what do you do next? You know, but
I'm more or less happy that Stan, you know, he left his mark on the world. He left his mark on the world, and it's no better way to leave this earth than, you know, knowing that you've made billions of people happy throughout your entire lifetime, that you've touched people, that your name will be remembered. It sucks if, you know, you die and no one even remembers you. No one knows who you are. You haven't done anything to impact the world. And that's I think that's one of the worst feelings you could ever have when you're about to pass away, knowing that you haven't done anything to impact anyone, even much less one person. So I think we can take away that, you know, he was old but he did a lot.
Yeah.
And he touched the world, literally changed the world. Literally.
He did as much as he can to change what the view of a lot of people are too, especially like look at how now, you know, little boys look at, you know, little black boys look at superheroes now.
Yeah.
You know, being a superhero. You know, they now know they can be something. They don't have to, you know, be what society tells them, because Stan Lee said, I can be, you know, I can be Black Panther, or I can be Spider-Man, or I can be this and I can be that. It doesn't matter my age, my gender, my, you know, my race.
I just came across his Hollywood star people paying tribute, and going back to Michael Jackson. I was in California when Michael Jackson died, so I was there at the vigils that they had. So scrolling through here just made me remember that.
One thing I will say though, whenever that funeral service is going to be, trust me, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be stuff. It's going to be stuff to the gills. I haven't really read a lot of the other tributes yet on Twitter. You know, I just seen a couple on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But you know, I seen some from Lou Ferrigno, you know, who played the original Incredible Hulk on the TV show. I'm pretty sure everyone from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really feeling it right now too. You know, so I mean, one thing I can say, I'm definitely looking forward to Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 and see how they pay tribute to you know, their creator.
I actually just read that Stan Lee's last cameo will be in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay. Far. Wow.
All right. So, you know, as one of my friends said, even though he's gone, he's still blessing us.
Yeah.
He's still blessing us. Yeah.
Oh, so I can't imagine how the theater is going to be when he pops up on screen.
Yeah.
Do you think now at this point that like even with like the movies now, do you think that they're going to be more impactful now, or you think that more people are going to start showing up to Marvel movies just to support the fact that he's gone?
That's a high possibility.
Yeah, I can see that. I was about to say unless they're not true Marvel fans, unfortunately they might forget all about it. But
yeah,
no, I think they will.
So
I mean, I think the passing definitely alerted a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who don't even know who he was, and so I definitely believe that him passing is definitely gonna cause more people to, I guess, learn more about him, and maybe cause them to be more motivated to see, I want to see his next cameo. I never seen it before, or I never really knew anything about this guy. I want to see Captain Marvel now because I want to see this guy pop in. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people out there. I don't know if it's going to be an overwhelming amount of people though, but I do know there are going to be some people like that.
I think I heard at some point that they were trying to put together like a biopic about him. I don't know if that was sidelined or something. I'm not quite sure, but I remember hearing words about that. Like maybe like 2 years ago, they were talking about doing a Stan Lee biopic. That's probably going to be something they're probably going to kick into high gear now that he's gone. And I got to read more into that. But it's funny because earlier today I was trying to think of.
Oh no.
What happened?
Sorry, I'm reading someone comment. Someone, damn, he really died on my birthday.
Wow. That's a rough one.
Someone just said his last it's crazy, I didn't even think about this. His last cameo will be his favorite character and first character that made him popular, Spider-Man.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I caught that, but it was, I'm wondering if they did that on purpose. That's kind of where I'm at with that, because I'm wondering.
Don't wind up my conspiracy mind now. Because once you wind that up, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it.
It's like, I'm wondering if they just totally did that on purpose, because I was gonna mention it and I was like, maybe they wanted it that way, just to pay homage to the fact that that's his favorite character, and that's that's his character, that's his baby. So. And that's kind of where I was kind of leaving it at. I didn't want to wind you up or anything like that.
No, I know.
Because Matthew was about to get it in real quick.
No, I was not. No, not now. It's not the time.
But I was saying
videos later.
Yeah. but I was saying earlier that I was trying to figure out which cameo was my favorite, because like I said, he's been in every single Marvel movie up until now. One of them that comes off the top of my head was him in the first Iron Man, actually. When when Tony went to that gala event and he complimented him saying looking good half, and then he turned around and I was like, you're just killing two birds with one stone right there. I'm like, that's just really ingenious to do that. I mean, I remember his first
Mine will forever and always be packaged with Tony Stank.
Oh my God. That is the greatest.
Number 2 right now, actually.
That is the greatest. That was probably the greatest spoken cameo that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
To this day, I still say Tony Stank.
Oh gosh.
It was too fantastic. It was just too fantastic.
Wonderful.
I think one that was really good that I personally enjoyed was when he was talking to the Watchers and he was telling them,
kind
of giving them a rundown of his actual his cameo jobs. He's like, I used to work as a mailman back in those days, and he's referencing his Fantastic Four entrance when he was the FedEx dude. Remember? I mean, the FedEx dude, the guy who's bringing the mail in the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
He was kind of like giving a rundown of all his cameos. I'm like, man, this man chilling with the Watchers. I'm like, how he even get there?
I thought that was really dope. I thought that was really dope.
It's too many good ones to remember.
There really are.
Remember to it's just like you're going through your head and you're like, man, I really can't pick one.
Yeah,
because it's just so good.
Wish me luck. Another tomorrow I'm doing a top 5 video. Wish me luck. That's gonna be hard.
I was there's a video out right now about every single Stan Lee cameo that there's been up to today. I'll probably go watch that later after I watch the Elseworlds trailer. I even like the one back at Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver, where he cameoed basically as himself and saying that he was on the guest list. And they were trying to tell him that, nah, you're not Stan Lee. Like that's really me, Stan Lee. But then of course, I'm sorry, but his cameo in Teen Titans Go the movies is hilarious. I'm like, if you have to watch it, whenever you get a chance, go look for it on YouTube. It was the funniest thing I had ever seen. Because he's chilling in the back. The Teen Titans are talking, and he's chilling in the back doing the Spider-Man, thwip thing. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? It was hilarious. Yes. Go look it up when you get the chance. Please go look it up. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
No way.
But, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough couple of movies.
It's gonna be emotional when you see him.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, is that now it's gonna trigger an emotion rather than that laugh that you usually get from him. You might just you might laugh but then shed a tear.
I'm actually thinking, because I know Spider-Man is his baby, and I know there's probably going to be some emotions with that cameo, but I'm wondering about Avengers 4, because if you think about it, Avengers 4 is the end of an era. We're talking 10 years of movies, and there's a lot of stars not coming back. Chris Evans, he's not coming back. I don't believe Robert Downey Jr. is coming back either.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
So there's a lot of them not coming back. For like the next generation of movies. So
Chris Evans did say he was open to returning, either for a cameo or for a guest appearance or something like that. He did mention that he was open to returning for that, but not to sign a full contract.
I could roll with that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But think about it. It's Avengers 4 is going to be like the super culmination of everything that we've been going through for the last 10 years. We're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of characters, in a few months. We're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of them, and the fact that we have to say goodbye to the creator of those characters, it's going to be interesting going to see Avengers 4. It's going to be rough. It's really going to be rough. Like I've said a few times. I don't know which characters are going to like die in Avengers 4. Like I've always said, if it ends up being Captain America, that might be a rough one, because Captain America was a character I didn't really vibe with until the movies. Like Chris Evans did a very good job in making me really like Captain America. I've said it on.
It took me a couple movies. He's cool now.
I got something to add to that. Where you're saying, I was talking with someone. I don't know if I said this to you guys before. I can't remember, but how crazy would it be if Captain America is the one that's dying, and right before he dies, he looks at Bucky, tells him, "I'm with you," and then he says to the end of the line,
"Listen,"
and then dies.
Like, don't be doing that to me, man.
That's gonna mess me up. I'm telling you.
Don't be doing it.
If that would be the
that's the conspiracy theorist in him right now talking. That's you talking.
Because I'm going with the theory that if Captain America is the one to go, I can imagine him meeting Peggy Carter again, and then finally having that dance, and that's probably gonna be a real tearjerker. I can tell you that right now. That's gonna be a real tearjerker if it's him that has to go. Like I don't really imagine Tony Stark going. I just don't really see that happening. Really, if you think about it, Captain America is like he's the first Avenger, so it kind of makes sense for him to be the one to.
He's the heart too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Harold.
Oh, Harold, he's chiming in.
Yep.
Cool.
He's been leaving some paragraphs on my channel. I just didn't get a chance to read it. You've been dropping some good.
Yeah, I usually I look, but I'm like triple doing stuff right now. I'm being a woman. I'm multitasking.
Do we have any comments going right now on either side?
Ren says no questions, just like listening to us talk, especially today for Stan Lee. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Daryl, I am not a fan of Pokemon, so I have not seen the live action Pokemon. But we are strictly sticking to Stan Lee for this stream.
Yeah. I've said my piece on the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer, so you can go check that out. But we're not going to be talking about anything else. We're just like Tony said, we're focusing strictly on Stan Lee. That's all.
K-Man the Boss. I'm sorry Stan Lee died on your birthday, but happy birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Daryl Taylor's favorite Stan Lee characters were the strip club scene and the casino scene from Black Panther. King Experience HD says rest in peace. Harold says his is ask her for your number, you moron, on the Avengers. And Daryl again says, I think Steve Rogers' death would have the most impact.
It most likely would. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. But when you think of cameos, a lot. Just think about it. Like Stan Lee. I mean, there's a lot of cameos that he has where he doesn't say anything. He just happens to show up. Like he's done that with a lot of the X-Men movies. In fact, Spider-Man 3 was the first time he spoke in the Spider-Man trilogy. He's had a few speaking roles in the Fantastic Four ones. He played the mailman in the first Fantastic Four. But, to see and you have to know that he was having a blast doing this stuff.
Yeah.
He's on set looking at characters that he created come to life, and he's interacting them, and he's having fun with them, chit-chatting it up, shooting the breeze with them. He was having a blast. And I'm pretty sure the cast members were having a blast too. So that's going to be, and that's why I said the Marvel Cinematic Universe is probably really feeling it right now, because now, I don't really know what it's like, but it's like almost to the point where it's like not having your father around, or not like having your grandfather around, the one who's done almost everything for you, and then not have that person around anymore. It's like a void that's being.
Most people either got their big breaks or their comeback from this franchise.
Michael B. Jordan.
Think about it. Would you have ever thought in your life that you would see Robert Downey Jr. play a superhero like Tony Stark? That is like the comeback of the century.
Oh, what? You kidding me?
No. Yeah, maybe. You're right.
Given what he was going through, he was still doing stuff, but the fact that they took a chance in casting him to play the role of Tony Stark, who in his own respect is a troubled character too.
Yeah,
Tony Stark is a troubled character as well. They probably could have gotten anybody to play Tony Stark, but as far as it stands,
this is a bit sidetracked, like to add to the Tony Stark thing. I said this in my Iron Man commentary video. I think it was very strong for RDJ to play an alcoholic, considering the fact that he was an alcoholic.
Exactly.
And to go on a movie and play an alcoholic, that shows strength.
Yeah,
that's a huge comeback. That's huge. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Did Stan Lee cameo on Logan? I don't remember.
I don't think I remember seeing Stan Lee in Logan. I'd have to go back and watch it because I've only watched it once. So I'd have to go back and watch it again. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
I would imagine that he did.
He did? Okay. Stan Lee was also in Runaways.
I think he was a driver, right?
Was he in any other show aside from Runaways?
The Gifted.
He was on The Gifted. Okay.
It was a scene in the bar. I think it was.
But
like
I really only
2.
half pay attention to The Gifted.
Yeah, no. I think it was episode 1 of The Gifted where they walked in the bar and he was just walking out the door and he was just like, then kept walking.
Yeah, I did not remember that.
Going back to like the comebacks and everything else, I was about to say the thing that the one comeback that comes to me, and he may not have had a hand in it, he may have, but from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as far as a comeback, the one that I always see is freaking Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I mean, after the movie that we don't want to talk about right now came out, after that,
Yeah.
And then of course X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's I mean, I think it was like I've always said before that there are just certain actors that were born to play certain characters. That's just my feel. I mean, Ryan Reynolds.
Like we've seen a few people play Batman. We've seen a few people play Superman. It's like I don't think anyone else can be Tony Stark.
No.
I honestly couldn't see anybody else playing Tony Stark, and the way I see it, if Tony Stark was going to be the one to go, you would probably have to bring in Riri Williams. Is that who it is? Is that on
Ironheart? Yeah, Riri.
You would probably have to do something like that.
Which is a very complex thing to do because Riri is a very mixed fan reaction.
Yeah.
Very. So, I don't know.
It's very 50 about her right now. So
I think they may try to focus more on Spider-Man while they still have him.
Yeah.
For now.
I don't recall seeing him in Cloak and Dagger.
I haven't seen him in Cloak and Dagger yet. No.
And if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't shown up in any of the Netflix series, has he?
As in pictures.
In pictures, right?
Jessica Jones just showed up as like a bus poster or something.
Right.
Yeah, the only one I really remember was Runaways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean he I know I forgot which one he showed up in as pictures. There's a couple that he showed up in certain movies and games and form of pictures, which is a point someone else brought up earlier, is that like in the future a lot of his cameos can be in the form of pictures.
Yeah, that's true.
So without actually having to do CGI, somebody has like a wall poster or a T-shirt of Stan Lee or something, you know. I wonder if he has a cameo for Into the Spider-Verse. I wonder.
That's true, and in fact that's coming out next month, right?
It's coming out in
that's coming out next
5
month.
weeks or so,
right. Yeah.
Or less than that, actually.
In fact, I have a list right here of all of his cameo appearances so far. Like he's he wasn't in. I didn't realize that he wasn't in X-Men 2. I didn't realize that, and that's one of my favorite movies. But he's in the first X-Men, X-Men 3, Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse. He was in No Good Deed, which was a short film that aired before Logan. He was in that.
Oh, okay. So that's why people think he was in Logan, which makes sense.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense why that link is there, because I could have sworn that he was, but
he also Deadpool 2, The Gifted, a non-speaking cameo, the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Fantastic Four movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies,
the library scene in the Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Exactly. Hulk, Daredevil, the Daredevil movie.
What was that?
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, we don't.
But I will say this though, I thought Electro was worse than the Daredevil movie. I thought the Electro movie was way worse than the Daredevil movie.
Gosh, it was a very hard watch.
Yeah, like that might have been the first movie I saw where I really wanted my money back. I was like, because we saw Daredevil. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Then we heard Electro was coming. I'm like, all right, it's about to be lit.
What about Blade 3? You don't want your money back for Blade 3?
I don't think I saw Blade 3 in the movie theaters. I didn't watch it until it came on TV.
Daryl says, I'm surprised he didn't cameo in The Punisher. I'm not surprised that he didn't cameo in The Punisher, because he didn't cameo in any of the other Netflix shows either.
Yeah,
which I wonder why he didn't.
That's a very interesting thing, also, because
I wonder what the purpose was.
Well, I mean, what did he ever do? Was he ever in Agents of Shield?
It doesn't say that he was.
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't watch. I don't watch Agents of Shield. I really tried to get into it, and I couldn't.
Same.
It doesn't appear. It doesn't say that he appeared in anything on Agents of Shield. You know, so yeah, I guess he skipped that one out too. But it's.
And I would go and say that that's one of the most successful Marvel show.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, it has 7 seasons. Like if we're going by that.
I mean, it is the most watched though.
Yeah.
So because they rack in millions of views every week. So
you know, I watched the first 2 episodes and that was it for me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't get past the second one.
I heard it got better like around the 3rd season, but I don't think I had that kind of patience to wait 3
seasons.
I gotta watch 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. I heard it got better.
I'm the same way too, Matthew. I don't think I have the patience or the time to just sit through the first 2 seasons to get to number 3.
I don't want to sit through trash just to wait till it gets good.
Exactly. There are very few shows I got that do that for me. I think I had to struggle through the first season of Power. I thought Power kind of sucked, but I love it now.
You know, so.
Can't pay me to watch that.
Huh?
Can't pay me to watch that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, Kim.
We got any more comments coming through?
I actually skipped some comments, so I have to scroll up. Okay.
I probably should.
Agents of Shield ain't that bad, but you have to commit to the storyline. I don't know about that one, my brethren.
No, forget all that, man. I'm sorry.
They said well, this is what I did hear about Agents of Shield though. Markellian Sigler, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, buddy. He said it gets better when it crosses over with Winter Soldier. That's what I heard. I heard that the movie actually takes place post Winter Soldier. I think pre and post Winter Soldier. So it actually connects canon wise to the movie. And I heard and I heard the same dude who got pushed off the same Hydra dude that got pushed off the building was actually in Agents of Shield prior to getting captured on the boat.
Okay.
So I heard that the Winter Soldier tie-in actually made it worth it, and that's what saved the show for a lot of people. And then of course Ghost Rider and stuff later on.
If anything, I'll probably just start from 3 and go forward. That's
what I'm thinking too.
That's the most I'll do. I'll start from 3 and go forward. I'll read the cliff notes on the first 2 seasons. That's what I'll do.
Watch a synopsis.
You're not just going to give it the satisfaction of watching it from the beginning, just to have that dedication.
Just watch the first episode to say you watched the first episode.
You have to go through the dedication. I mean, I really could not stand the first Captain America, but I struggled through it so I can tie it into the rest of the movies.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Like you can't just have to it. You have to.
Maybe on when I have some off time. Maybe
that's what I'm saying.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
it's on Netflix. So maybe I'll just. I can binge it, I guess.
I mean, some people trying to get me to do reactions to it, so that might be an excuse for me to actually watch it. To be honest, because if it's not for that, I probably wouldn't do it. To be honest.
Okay.
I'm just
Harold says that he agreed with you, Kendrick, that Robert Downey Jr. really made a comeback.
Yeah.
Pretty much spot on, 100% casting on Downey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good.
Ryan Reynolds is that dude.
He really is Deadpool.
I mean, Marvel God really smiled on him.
But to get that second chance though, because not a lot of people get that second chance to come back from something terrible. Like you went from horrible Green Lantern to Deadpool.
And I heard this coincidentally on a podcast earlier today. They were talking about the failure of John Carter the movie. They were talking about why it failed. And Deadpool came up and there's if it wasn't for the leaked footage that got leaked, the movie would have never got made.
And I remember that leaked footage too.
If the test footage didn't get leaked, they would have never even summed up a budget. Because the fans were like, nah, bro, okay, this is the test footage. We need the movie now.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
that's good graces right there.
Mm-hmm.
just reading some celebrity tributes on an article that just popped up on my phone. This is from Brett the Hitman Hart. He says, "So long, Stan Lee. Thank you for saving my childhood and filling my head with dreams and imagination." This comes from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He says, "What a man, what a life. When I broke into Hollywood, he welcomed me with open arms and some very sage advice I'll take forever to heart. A true icon who impacted generations around the world. Rest in love, my friend Stan Lee." This is from AJ Lee, who says, "Thank you for giving us outsiders a place to belong." That is true story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's see, Johnny Gargano, a WWE wrestler, says, "The world has always been like a comic book to me. To say his characters, his stories, and the universe he created had an influence on me would be the ultimate understatement. Thank you for the joy, the escape, and the continued inspiration." Let's see. This is from Austin Creed, or better known as Xavier Woods, who has the channel Up Up Down Down on YouTube. He said, "Just heard about Stan Lee passing away. Sad to hear the news, but extremely happy to have had the opportunity to enjoy his work. He brought smiles, entertainment, and hope to so many hearts and minds. His characters play a huge role in who I am today. Thank you for inspiring me." This comes from Shane Helms. He says, "Simply gutted and damned heartbroken to hear about the passing of Stan Lee. He's had such an impact on my life as anyone. I started reading comics when I was very young, and I never stopped. The characters, the worlds, the universe that Stan helped create brought joy and entertainment to myself and millions of others all around this planet. Thank you for everything, Stan. You're a true icon." You know, it's this guy is like, he's really touched us all. Like,
the entire world, man.
I've said on many occasions that I always felt that, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Captain America has been like a better Superman than the Superman we've got from the DC Cinematic Universe.
Definitely.
Like if you literally put the Superman suit on Chris Evans, he would literally be the Superman we've always wanted to see in a movie. I mean, it just goes to say that, like, when you really put your heart into something, and this is why Marvel has done well so far with their movies. When you put your heart into it and not just look at the dollar signs, you can create adaptations of your favorite comic book stories that really stand the test of time.
And it becomes a labor of love versus just labor.
Like I said. And like I said, I know Stan Lee was having a blast being on set with all these movies. It's your dream come true. It's like giving birth to a kid. When you give birth to a kid, like, there's like all your hopes and dreams are like resting on that kid. Like, when you see the characters that you wrote and drew stand in front of you, in live form, it's like there's no other feeling than you can have aside from like pure unadulterated joy.
And what's cool, what I just thought about this too, I just remember this man sat by all the versions of these characters. Like, I remember I actually seen this episode when Lou Ferrigno was playing Hulk, and Thor came on that episode. This man was there for that and was able to see it translate to what it is now. Could you imagine, like, you see it go from how minuscule it was in comparison to now? Yeah. And then it just transformed into what it's just crazy and amazing that he's able to just witness all these different versions of his babies, man, of his kids. It's crazy.
So, it's just crazy to think about. Do you have any other comments coming in at the moment?
Comments. Just Harold agreeing with Matthew, saying that Stan Lee only showed up in pictures on the Marvel Netflix shows. And then Daryl asking if he was in the Ghost Rider movies.
I don't think I've ever seen
him in a Ghost Rider. No.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in Ghost Rider either. So.
And saying that the only reason the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got better was because they had the Ghost Rider character come in, and that's when everyone started watching it more. And he said he had a bad taste in his mouth when he saw Iron Man 3. I didn't hate Iron Man 3. So
they messed me up with the Mandarin story. That kind of tricked me up a bit because I was excited to. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, but. But anyway, yeah, the guy who they what's his name? How I forget his name? Legendary actor, man. How I forget his name? Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley. Yeah. When I saw him, I'm like, yo, we got the Mandarin. Okay, I mean he's not Chinese, but I'll deal with it. Okay, he looks like him. Like I'll deal with this. And then they show me this dude glowing with tattoos on his chest. I'm like, what is this? And Ben Kingsley like, oh, I'm just an actor. No, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, give me a break. I'm done with this movie, man.
Anything on the other side?
Everyone is just saying they miss him. Some people said they didn't like the Daredevil movie. Talking about how his PS4 cameo was great in Spider-Man PS4.
Now I gotta play it some more.
No, he's in Spider-Man PS4.
That's what I'm saying. Now I gotta play it some more.
I think he was one of the dudes that was at the table. I'm not gonna spoil it. You're gonna play it. He's blessed to show how big his creations got. Someone asked if there's any news of how he died, just old age or sickness.
I believe it was I think it was cancer, wasn't it? Hold on, let me tell.
I heard some people keep telling me pneumonia, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was hearing pneumonia. Which he had a few bouts with over the past year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pneumonia.
Kelvin Lang said Stanley didn't create Ghost Rider. That's why no cameo. He only cameo in the characters that he made.
Well, I guess that makes sense then. That's all right.
Let's see if I see anything else. Someone is saying that their favorite cameo was Marjorie, how's your mother? In Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, pretty much everyone is just saying they miss him. And they love him. And Kermit said that much love to us and the Blerd cast.
Thank you for that. Thank you for
much love to you as well.
Thank you for that.
Also, much respect to Kermit because he said he lost both his grandparents very recently.
Oh wow.
And lost Stanley as well. So.
Man, I'm really sorry to hear that. Oh man.
So there's a few quotes if you want to end it up on some Stan Lee quotes that I found from the Observer.
Yeah. I wanted to read my favorite one, which I posted on my business page because I felt like it was relatable because we are all creatives, within our, whether it's on this broadcast or in our other careers. And I said, he said, I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer while other people were building bridges or going on to medical careers. But then I began to realize that entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. And without it, they might go off the deep end. I feel if you're able to entertain people, you're doing a good thing.
I really feel that quote, like I really do. And it's funny because considering that, our next main Geekcast is going to be about being a content creator. We spent so much of our lives growing up, being told that we should get into this field or that field, things like in a corporate office or like a doctor. Or,
you can't make a living doing art. You can't make a living doing design.
And then it's like you gotta sit and realize, like, and what Stanley's saying is correct. Entertainment is probably one of the most important forms of art that exist out here. Everybody wants to be entertained. Every doctor,
people
lawyer,
want to escape life.
Exactly. I mean, like, without entertainment, like, a lot of life would really be kind of boring. So it's just like, and that's kind of what drives me, to continue to be a content creator, to like write and try to put together fan films and things like that, is because at the end of the day, somebody's going to want to sit back and read this or watch this or listen to that and stuff like that. It's just the way it is these days.
It's amazing. Like with moderation, escapism can be a really good thing for you. Mentally healthy for you, especially if you're like a lot of people, like for me and other people who struggle with depression as kids, you know, like being able to read comic books and put yourself in that world and be entertained by that and kind of, you know, distract you from life sometimes, because life can just suck sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And so entertainment is so important. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I saw this in Stanley's Instagram. While he was in the army, he was known as the playwright. That was his nickname while he was doing time in the army. So
it seems very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so it's like I said, or like we said, it's gonna be a hard pill to continue to swallow, you know, for a while now. You know, when icons such as him, you know, leave this plane of existence, it's like, it just makes you wonder, you know, it kind of makes you wonder how you're supposed to function, knowing that this person is not going to be there to like create such beautiful works of art after a while. Like I said, you know, going back to when Michael Jackson passed away, you know, Michael Jackson was a guy that did so much, not only for the entertainment industry, just for the world all over. And when a guy like that passes away, it's like you feel like this world doesn't feel the same anymore. You know, I mean, we've had comic book icons before. You know, like Steve Ditko, you know, Bob Kane, Bill Finger. You know, all these guys, the guys who created Superman. You know, they've gone and passed on. He was like the last. Stan Lee was literally like the last of the comic book gods. And you know, now that he's gone, it's just like, you know, it's just kind of rough. And, you know, like, just like you, Matthew, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, it still hasn't really like sunken in yet. But it's like, you know, I mean, probably like I guarantee, like,
I still don't believe it, man. I still don't want to accept it.
Like when I think the next, like, I think it'll really hit when the next Marvel movie comes out. That's what I think. Whether it's, you know, Into the Spider-Verse or Captain Marvel or Avengers 4, you know, it's gonna really once those come out, then you're gonna really see the effect that it has. That's when it's gonna really hit home. You know, not even a funeral service or anything. It's when the next movie comes out. That's when it's gonna really hit home. You know, so
at the funeral, everybody needs a cosplay at the funeral. Everyone needs to cosplay at the funeral. Stanley would love that. I know that.
I was just
everyone dressing up in Marvel gear.
That would probably be exactly what he wants. Like, you know, for everyone to cosplay. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if all the stars from the movies come in their outfits, come in their costumes from the movies.
That'd be so amazing.
And pay their respects. And that would be like really dope. I think that would be the dopest thing ever. But I mean, we got any other comments coming in at this moment? We can wrap this up. We went over a little bit longer than we were expecting to, but it was all for a good reason. It was definitely all for a good reason.
Nothing question related on my end. So.
No, there's no questions over here either.
Yeah, just comments and.
Okay, maybe we can read a couple of those out before we shut it down.
The last one on this side says he had a cameo on the Spider-Man, that animated series back in the 90s.
I mean, well, if we all think about it, back in the day, he used to narrate a lot of the old animated series. I think in fact, I remember specifically, he would introduce the Fantastic Four and Iron Man back when it used to come on. Back then, it was the WB. It used to come on like early Sunday morning. And he would narrate, like he would give a little like blur before the show would start. I remember that. I remember him doing that.
Markelon Singer said, "Did any of y'all meet Stanley in person?" Unfortunately, no, from me.
No.
Every time he would go to Comic-Con for me, it was the one year I couldn't go. Yeah. So.
You were going to see him. What was that? Big Apple Con or
yes,
Ace
and
I think he
might have bowed out.
Canceled.
Yeah, he canceled on that one because the only reason why we were going to go to that one was just to meet him. That would have been the only reason why we would have gone.
I think that was also I think that also might have been the same weekend as the Urban Action Showcase. It was either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I know his sickness kept a lot of things, from happening. And that was one of the drawbacks to that. And it's like it was very hard to meet him. And I know a few people that have personally, and they're posting, like Ken said, they're posting up a lot of pictures and a lot of stuff. And I'm glad that they have had the chance to at least meet him and to know what he's actually like, and that way they can share with the world what he actually was and what he truly meant to the world.
Yeah. If we got nothing else, then we can probably wrap this up. I'll say again, like I said early in my previous video on YouTube, I want to send all my condolences and my love and support to Stan Lee's extended family. I know his daughter released a statement that I haven't read yet, so I'll probably read that at some point. I know it's a tough day for the geek world. It's a real tough day for the geek world, but we just got to remember that he gave us so much in his 95 years of life. He gave us a great deal. He's probably given us more than what he probably should have. And at the end of the day, his legacy is really going to live on for a long time. Within the comic books, anything animated, the cinematic universe, Stan Lee's stamp, his footmark is going to be left everywhere. It's really going to be left everywhere.
You mentioned that I remember that recently. I think he was saying that he still has stories to make. Even in his 95, he's saying, I still have stories that I haven't told yet that I want to tell. Can you imagine that 95 years old and you still feel like if you haven't done what you've done everything yet? You still feel like there's more stories to tell. It's amazing. It's like amazing, crazy, sad, all at the same time.
Yeah. It's wild. It's really wild. But if that's all we got, then we can wrap this up. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight to help us pay our respects to Stan Lee, the man, the myth, the legend, the god, the comic book god. You can continue to share your post, in the comment section after this video goes up. Like with the others, the audio will be up on the podcast services later on within the week also. So definitely look out for that. Again, our next major Geekcast will be hopefully around Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll talk about being a content creator, and hopefully you guys remember your assignments. We just created the Facebook fan page for ourselves. It's still a work in progress, but you can definitely feel free to check us out there. You can submit whatever you want, whether it's a question, your comments, whatever you like, you can submit it there, because I know it's hard to do it through YouTube itself. So the link will be in the description box to the Facebook fan page, so you can definitely check us out. Bring as many people, like it. Please like the page. Just like it. Please big thumbs up there. Bring all the numbers. And also, if you can't catch it here on YouTube, you can definitely catch the broadcast on Facebook also. Once the Facebook page is really solidified, we'll be simultaneously podcasting live through Facebook as well. So you don't have to just rely on YouTube and Twitch. And we are also going to be working to get our Discord together also. I know me and you have to talk, Matthew, about that. So that'll be forthcoming as well. But other than that, my name is Kendrick Gray, the Dreadlock Blerd. Thank you guys again for joining us tonight. And remember, in the words of the great Stan Lee himself, Excelsior.
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 All right, so we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.